Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Easier Said Than Done podcast. And today I have one of our students, Orlando, who's from Spain, and not just from Spain. He's a doctor from Spain who's almost done with his learning to code transition because he has really gotten quite good. He was good when he started. He was definitely not a complete beginner, but I would say he's come a very long way since then and continues to work very hard. So, Orlando, welcome to the show. I'm really glad to have you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks. Thanks for having
Now,
me.
Now I know it's nighttime here in Australia, so I'm guessing it's what mid-morning your time.
Yeah, it's like 11:30, 11:40
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
Spain.
And to Orlando's credit, it's the calls that we have for the inner circle are sometimes early in the morning my time before work, and Orlando has to sometimes get up at 2 in the morning his time just to
Yeah.
attend. So this guy is seriously committed, and that's the kind of person Brian and I look for when we're working people. So Orlando, congratulations on all the commitment. The right place for us to start, where I think everybody will want to know about, is the same question I got when I was, 37, the lawyer changing, like, you're a doctor. Why are you learning to code? I'm sure you get this all the time. So tell us what you say to this. Welcome to Easier Said Than Done with me, Zubin, where I share with you the tens of thousands of dollars worth of self development that I did on my journey from 37-year-old lawyer to professional software engineer. The goal of this podcast is to show you how to actually do those things that are easier said than done. You're a doctor. Why are you learning to code?
Well, the thing is that at first I always like to the computers, the technology space, and I did my career I started a career in physics, and then I shifted to medicine. During my
Mhm.
career in physics, I worked programming, and I got my fundamentals there.
Yeah.
And then at the end of my career, I was working in biophysics, and I learned about people who made the shift to medicine. So I decided, okay, let's go to medicine. The thing is, I like everything. I'm like the word. It's like a polymath. I don't know if that's
Yeah, yeah. And you're basically a curious person. I think you
curious
like
about
all the
everything.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
That's
the
great.
thing.
So how
And
long were you in the physics world? Then how long were you in medicine? Just to give us a
in the
sense of.
physics world, it's been 5 years. It was 5 years. And in the medicine space, it's been like 12, 13 years.
Wow. Okay. Yep. So, and now you're going into the software engineering
Yeah.
space. So that's another big jump. I mean, kudos to you. I think it's fantastic. I think you're
Yeah.
living the kind of life that most people would like to do. And then we find excuses not to do it. And then when we do it, we're like, okay, it's not
Yeah.
easy, right? It's definitely not
Not
easy, but
easy.
it's always worth it. So, speaking of not easy, I think a lot of people think, oh, I can learn to code in 2 or 3 months. What do you think of that idea?
That's a wrong idea. I had it because that's the thing that you
I
get
do too.
in the advertisements in YouTube
Yeah.
everywhere. Everything is like become a software developer in 3 months,
Yeah.
in 6 months, in 12 weeks, and also in books you see like learn to program in 30 days, and it's
Right.
like okay, that's not it. You have to put on the
No,
work. You have to the effort and the time, and the results will come.
will come if you have the right plan. And this
Yeah.
is this is the thing. Like so many people fall for this. I fell for it. You fell for it. And it's not anyone's fault if they fail to learn to code because they followed some social media influencer or some random ad, right? Like everything hard in life, you have to have a really good plan. So tell me about, before you joined the program, I know you spent some time trying to teach yourself. What was that period like? Do you remember what it was like? What were the challenges you faced? Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Well, when I shifted to medicine and came here to Spain, I started my specialization in public health and preventive medicine. And
Hmm.
during my masters, I saw people, well, like talking about artificial intelligence in
Oh, yeah.
the med space, and that sparked again like the interest in the coding space and technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that shift, and it's been hard because you want to make the change, but also you need to have an income to live, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
you need to make the space to learn, but if you don't have like the systems and the help or seek for the help, it's kind of difficult.
Oh,
It
it's
felt for
almost
me like
impossible.
impossible.
Yeah. And rightly so, because when you're working full time, and we generally tell our students, ideally, you should have a job full time. Like that's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right? Because no one actually knows how long this could take. It could take 6 months.
Hey, hope you're enjoying this episode. Listen, I bet you're tired of the social media BS, you're confused and overwhelmed, and all you want is for someone to just show you a clear path to a coding career, right? We get it. My partner Brian and I, we changed to code in our 30s, and we can help you do it too. Brian and I have done all sorts of engineering work from startups to Google, and now we've built an exclusive private mentorship program designed to get you from beginner to professional developer. Whether you've done a coding bootcamp, you have a computer science degree, or you're starting from zero, it doesn't matter. We'll build you a step-by-step and customized plan, not just for the coding stuff, but for the entire career change process. Look, I'll be honest, the program is not easy and it's not short. But if you do the work, you'll get results that will change your life, if that's what you want. So go to parsity.io/inner circle or find any of the links in the show notes, and you can schedule a free call with us. Speak to you then.
When you're working full time, and we generally tell our students, ideally, you should have a job full time. Like that's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right? Because no one actually knows how long this could take. It could take 6 months, it could take a year and a half. We don't know. But usually in about a year, most people will do it with the right plan. Not if they don't have the plan, it could take 5 years. We've had people come to the program after 7 years of trying, right? 10 years of
Yeah.
trying, you've seen, right?
There's
Right?
no like a program or a plan. There's no way like to follow through. You don't have like the step, and you don't know what's the next step you have to take, and then
Right.
it becomes like you become
Guessing.
you get lost, and
Yeah.
you're just guessing.
Yeah. And it's overwhelming because there's so much information, there's so much competing information, it's conflicting advice. There's so many things you could do, this language, that framework, this new tool, and you're kind of guessing the way forward. And so you're working full time, you don't have a plan, you have very few hours available. And
Yeah.
in those hours, you end up doing all the wrong things. And before you know it, 6 years has gone by, right? So
Exactly.
this is a problem I faced. I know a lot of other people faced. That's why I created this program. So tell me about in that time when you were learning to code, what do you think the hardest thing that people don't understand about coding is?
The hardest thing I think for me was like getting the discipline, and making the space for learning,
Right.
because I didn't have a plan. Hmm?
Interesting. Okay. What do you
Yeah.
mean by making a space for it? What do you mean by that?
Like you don't, if you don't have a plan, you don't have you don't make the time for learning, for making the developing the market. It's one of the
Right.
things you see in the course, and just getting into the space, like learning about everything
Gotcha.
inside the space.
Right. I think I understand now. So, I mean, if you only have limited time and you don't know what to do, then
Yeah,
it's
you don't
very
know
hard to make more time to figure out what to do in that time.
exactly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You,
Okay.
you don't like focus your time on the things that are important. You
Right.
just like go one way and then to another. The shiny object syndrome.
Yes, it's very true. That's very true. And I think then that makes it harder to be consistent, harder to have discipline, harder to have focus. And
Exactly.
then it becomes this negative loop where you're doing rubbish work, working very hard on the wrong things for a long time. More time has gone by, and you feel like you're further behind, and it's very overwhelming. That's true. I've definitely. I
And
think.
yeah, and
Mhm.
another thing is that what I feel like also happened, it's like you like go to the same subject because you're comfortable there, and like you, I don't know what's the word, like
You stay in your
skip,
comfort zone because it's
yeah,
familiar
you
to
stay in
you.
your comfort zone and just like sleep in the same place,
Right.
like the wheels in a car when they get stuck in mud. Like,
Right. Yeah. So you're stuck in the same place. You're doing the same thing because you don't know what else to do, but doing the same thing makes you feel like you're making some progress.
exactly,
At least you're trying, and you're not making progress, but it's familiar. It's not too scary because you've done it if you've done. Yeah,
exactly.
that's very true. And so now that we've made you a custom plan, you're well into executing it. How do you feel about the progress you've made since you've been in the plan compared to the years before that?
It's been night and day, because
Really?
during the first phase of the program, the
Oh, the mindset and psychology.
the mindset and mentality,
Yeah.
that completely changes your focus. That's a thing you have to work really really hard on.
Orlando, it's so funny is everybody says that, right? And it never ceases to amaze me because everybody comes into the program saying we want to learn to code, but
Exactly.
100% of the students say we couldn't have done it without spending the first 6, 8 weeks on mindset like you made us do. So to help people understand that, because most people are like, I don't need to work on my psychology, and I'm like, I don't know. Well, you tell them why is that so important?
It's important because you need to know what are your goals. You need to know what are the things that move you, what are
Mhm.
the things that like block the what's the word?
That
Mm,
block you, that get in your way, that are obstacles.
that get in your way. The obstacles, that's the thing. The
Uh-huh.
obstacles that and the potholes in the road, so
Mhm.
you know how to navigate them. It's very
Right.
important to know that kind of stuff.
And so here's a question. I know the answer, but I'd like you to say it so that those who are listening can really understand, those who are in your shoes. Why is it that it doesn't matter if you have even the right courses and stuff to learn from, the right material to study the coding from? Why is that pointless if you don't have the right psychology? Why is psychology more important sometimes than the thing you're learning?
Because if you don't have the right psychology and you don't have the right mindset and the goals that will move you forward, you won't put in the work. You won't put in the effort.
Correct. You won't do it. And you won't do it consistently over time.
Exactly. That's the
Even if you
thing.
have the perfect recipe, you won't cook the dish. You know.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
Right.
you don't know how to work through the recipe. You don't know how to you get distracted by other things.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it funny, when we're doing the time audits and all the careful analysis we do for the first 2 months, right? We spend so much time on this stuff. Isn't it amazing the kind of things you learn about
Mhm.
yourself, the habits, how much time we lose? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, because you get to know deeply yourself. And also, what I really liked about the course was I found like a purpose and know why am I doing this, what I'm taking this risk.
Right. That's a really important, because if you don't know that, you run the risk of giving up or getting afraid very early. And now that we have your goals, we have your purpose, we have your time schedules, and now you have your coding plan. How do you feel about learning to code? Is it easier this time because all these things are there compared to what it was when you're doing it on your own? Are you making more progress faster?
It's easier and like at least when you're making the time, at least if you at least work 1 hour a day, you think like you're making some progress in the career change in my case.
Right. And are you finding that it's easier that you don't have to say, oh, what do I do today? What do I do next week? You know exactly what you
No,
need to
I
do.
know what I have to do, put in the work, learn about coding, and start developing the market
The
and
market, correct. The
developing
opportunities.
relationships with other
And yeah,
people.
correct. So that you can get more opportunities. Hi, if you want a no BS insight into how to change your career, whether to code or something else, and how to actually get job opportunities in tech, then please subscribe and like. It's no BS because I have zero incentive to mislead you. I just want to help you and give you tons of value so that you will consider working with me to get to your next career. Take a look at the description text below to learn more about the training I offer. But I do post content here regularly, and by subscribing and liking and hitting that notification bell, you will get to know when I post new industry insights for you. You'll also know within about 3 seconds if you want to learn more, but at least you won't miss out. Oh, and please follow me on LinkedIn too. I pretty much post there every single day. Just look for my name, Zubin Pratap. All right, so please like and subscribe to this channel, and let's get back to the episode.
And
The
developing
opportunities.
relationships with other
And yeah,
people.
correct. So that you can get more opportunities. Exactly. And yes, I know some people say, oh, Zubin is so tough on us and and all the rest of that. But I keep you guys accountable for a
No, but
reason, because it's hard to do on our own, right?
you need someone that keeps you accountable. That's very important also.
Of course. We all
Keep
do.
you
I do
it's
too. Yeah.
you have to keep accountable. You have to keep yourself accountable, but sometimes a hand can help you.
Oh, absolutely. We all need somebody else, because we can't always have perfect strength, perfect energy,
Exactly.
perfect focus, perfect, understanding. And sometimes it just helps to be able to say, hey, this is the situation I've got. Like you said, you've got these two opportunities that, your friend sent you, and you'd like to discuss them with me, and we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to know someone, hey, you're on the inside, you have the experience, you've climbed this mountain, you've done certain things, I've never done exactly that, can you share with me a perspective? Like, it's so helpful to have that. I have mentors even today, right, for all sorts of things, from my personal life to my professional life, right? It's so
Yeah.
important. It really
Yeah.
helps.
A good mentor, and I like it's like a coach. It's Like if you're a elite athlete, he needs a coach. He doesn't do the work
Absolutely.
by himself. He needs
100%.
people who help him progress in his.
Correct. Has had a coach. Every single one. Right. And they're the heads of their businesses, right? Like we're talking about pretty big businesses and stuff. And they still have coaches because everybody needs to get better at something,
Correct.
and they have things that they need to get better. So that's really good. Now I know, this is not easy for you because you're making a second career change in some senses, but you've got all the commitment. What are you most excited about, Orlando, when you think about the next 5 to 10 years, right? Because this is going to happen anytime now. Well, what is the most exciting thing for you in this journey?
This journey has like brought up hope. Like I'm like looking forward to the future
Yeah.
because I know that I can reach my goals and I have like this plan ready. Just simply take one step and the next step, and I
Yeah.
know I will reach my goal of making a career change, and the possibilities are like enormous. The freedom, the economical
I
aspect
agree.
also
Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's wonderful. And I think that's why most people want to change their careers.
to
Most
to
people
make
want a
to have
better
a
life.
better life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. But it's so
and
scary because it feels risky, right?
yeah, it feels risky, but one thing is that if you're making progress, that like lights up something inside you.
It
It
it, it
brings
keeps you
like
motivated. Yeah,
it keeps you motivated. Correct.
totally true. Totally true. And this is the thing why I think people, they tend to give up. Most people I've noticed give up because they don't know what to do and that demotivates them. But they think it's because they're not smart enough or the world is against them. But actually, what's happening is they don't know what to do. And when
Exactly.
you don't know what to do, the rational thing, the sensible, smart thing is to quit because you can't just guess
Yeah.
your way everywhere. That's not going to work, right? But everybody who comes in the program, the moment we give them the plan, they all feel like you. They're like, okay, now I have a purpose, I have a mission, I know what to do. The stress sort of
Exactly.
goes away. It's not easy. It takes a lot of discipline and commitment, but the doubt starts to slowly go away. Because it
Yeah.
becomes clearer and clearer. The image, the vision becomes clearer and clearer as you move towards it because you're moving
Yes, you
towards
have clarity.
clarity.
That's one.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Cool, man. Look, that's really good. I'm super excited, and I know everybody
Yeah.
enjoys reading your progress and hearing about your progress and all the rest of that. But here's the thing, Orlando. There are so many people out there. There's so many people out there who wish they could code even at your level, and you're pretty good now, and you're going to get even better before we get you ready for the interviews and stuff. But you know, there are people out there who believe that they have, maybe they believe they're not smart enough, maybe they believe they don't have enough time, maybe they believe, and some that could be true for some people. But in your experience, having met a few people in the program and done your own audits and stuff, what do you say to people about these excuses? What advice would you give them now that you understand what we've done in the program together?
I will tell them that they are not alone.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of people that I've met in the course that we have the same problems, we have the same fears, we have the same things that move us, because the things
Right.
that move me are my family, myself, and
Wanting
maybe
to be
helping others,
successful.
wanting to help
Yeah.
others, and
Yeah.
that's what you see with other people. So what I will tell them is to find people like them,
Yeah.
find, if they can help, find a coach.
Yeah.
That is a great opportunity to that will help you make progress. And when
Yeah.
you start making progress, it's like a flywheel. You
It
start
is.
like moving along, and you get super excited.
There's an old saying, right? Success begets success, which means
Yeah,
success produces more success. It's true. It gets that momentum going and that flywheel going, exactly as you say. So, one last question for you, man. And it's I'm going to say a sentence and I'm going to leave the blank at the end, and you fill it up with whatever you want. Okay. Anybody can code, but fill in the blanks.
but
First of
if
all,
you
do you
don't,
believe that?
yeah,
Do you believe that?
yeah, absolutely.
You do. Okay. Now,
Everyone, I know that in a way, everyone can do anything. They just have to put in the time,
eh,
the effort,
there's the mindset coming through. That's it.
and find the correct help.
Correct.
Know who can help you, because if it's not the right people, they won't they won't give you the right help.
get results. So, okay. So now that we know that you actually believe that statement, now it's probably easier for you to fill in the blank. So anybody can code, but what would you say?
But if they don't do the right things, they won't make any progress. If they
You know,
don't have the correct plan, if they don't, it's about effort, I think.
it's about it. And it's also,
That's
I
at
believe
the
it's about
at the
having,
base.
it's like having, it's also about like, I think like having recipe, like anybody can make paella, right? But you need
Yeah,
the recipe. Yeah.
and you
So
need the right tools,
ingredients, correct.
the
And, you know,
ingredients, the tools,
all the right tools. So, you know, there's
and
a,
and a
sorry,
helping hand.
and a helping hand. And that helps, especially with paella pans because they're huge and iron.
Yeah, and
You know, and
they're very good in here.
yeah, I
Here in
know.
Spain, oh, they're
Oh, in Madrid, some of the best paella I ever had. Actually, yeah, it was Madrid, and I had some really good ones. But you know, so here's the thing, right? So my coach, she once told me, she said, success is very easy. You just had to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. And I'm like, great, that's really easy. But
It's-
that's actually true, right? It's the truth. You know.
yeah, it's
So
completely true. But you have to be ready for when success comes. But
oh
because
yeah.
if you don't prepare yourself, you won't see it happening.
Interesting.
It may
Okay.
come by, but you won't be ready to see it.
Interesting. So, do you is there an example from your own life that you think of when you're talking about this? Or where is this coming from? This is interesting. I agree with you totally.
Maybe so. If you're not ready for grabbing success or for the opportunities that may come, you won't grab them.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is true of whether it's work or even relationships. You may meet the
Exactly.
right person, but not be ready and let success pass you by. Or you could get the right job opportunities, the opportunity to move to another country, and you just don't realize it. I totally agree. A lot of it is our false beliefs and expectations. Man, that was super, super interesting. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thanks for sharing your experience. Thank you for sharing
Th-
your insights, your advice for people. I really appreciate it. I'll put, you know, links to your contact details in your LinkedIn and stuff in the show notes. But thank you so much for taking the time in the middle of your morning. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time, Orlando.
Thanks for inviting me, Subin. See you next
Of
time.
course. See
Bye.
you next time. Bye.
Do it. Just subscribe. You know you got to do it.